Jesus, no wonder we had low oil pressure. We got the fucking triple Z's in the shop this week. So this one needs oil gallery gaskets. This is a huge job. I'm about to walk you guys through it, show you guys how it's done. All right, so this is gonna be a good stopping point. I'm about 15%, 10-15% through with this. So it's just the beginning. Got the whole front end off. I'm gonna keep the condenser on here so we don't gotta lose all the refrigerant. So I'm gonna work around the condenser. Tomorrow I'm gonna pull the belts off, all the accessories, and I'm going after this cover right here. I'm gonna pull this cover off, and behind the cover, you guys will see what I'm replacing. Hey Daniel, so I'm getting ready to pull the timing cover, and I'm noticing that we got a leak. You see how it's all stained right there? So that tells me that that front main seal was leaking. I'm gonna replace that guy. But also over here, something up higher was leaking. So let me grab a light. So we got the valve cover gasket right there. It's a possibility that that guy was leaking, but I'm kind of worried about the rear timing cover right now. I don't want to do the front timing cover and then have that leak in the back still. Now, with the front timing cover off, it's not much more labor to do the rear timing cover. I recommend doing the rear timing cover while we're in there, but that's completely up to you. I'm just gonna keep going, and then you let me know if you want me to do the rear timing cover as well. All right, so here's a close-up. That right there is the valve cover. In between the valve cover and the head is that seal that's leaking. That's definitely leaking. And then over here, where that cake is, that is the rear timing cover seal. That's also seeping. I highly recommend replacing that, but you let me know what you want to do. As you can see, those leaks are going all the way down, and they're just making a mess down there, all over the AC pump. They're like seeping all the way over here. It's making a huge mess. But you let me know what you want to do, Daniel, and we'll take care of it. But yeah, it's making a huge mess. Alright, so the timing cover is off, and I'm gonna show you guys these gallery gaskets. So basically what happens is we have that channel basically, which is used to transfer oil from one side to the other. And what happens is that little gasket behind it blows out. Like right there, it's blown out. And you can actually see where it started pushing out. And what happens is you lose oil pressure, and the engine will start knocking. You can see where it blew out all right there. So that's what I'm after. That's what I'm gonna replace. But I did get approved to do the rear timing cover reseal. So I'm gonna basically pull everything off of this engine to pull this rear timing cover off, because as we already seen, it is leaking. Here's another update. So the rear timing cover is just about ready to come off. As you can see, it's really loose. So the sealing surface between the head and the timing cover is what I'm going to reseal. This whole timing cover, the rear timing cover, this whole piece is gonna come off, and I'm gonna just reseal everything to the block. The head and the block, everything's gonna get resealed, just to prevent any, just to take care of this leak. It's kind of crazy how they did this, but as you can see, like, we're already in here. Like, I'm like a day into this, so like there's not much more to take this timing cover off. So that's why I recommended this. It would have been stupid not to. Now that we're here, might as well just do it. But that's what it takes. right above that thermostat housing right there. That's where it was leaking the most, as you can see. And yes, that is a paper clip. I got another one over here. Specialty tools, you already know. Alright, so the rear timing cover is back in place. I got the new Gallery Gaskets installed right there and right there. I got the primary and secondary chains installed and in time. So now it's time to do the front timing cover and the rest of the stuff. I'm about 50% done with this. So as you can see, it's a very, very big job. It's very involved, but your boy's getting her done. All right, y'all, so the Big Wing Z is about 80% done. I got most of the front end back together. I got the front timing cover back on. So this engine basically is ready to start. I'm about to fire it up. And this is where I double check my work. I'm about to start it, make sure we got no codes, and just look over all my work, make sure we got no leaks and everything's working how it's supposed to. Once I know that everything's okay, then I'll finish putting it back together and I go on a test drive. So this is a very important step. This is a step I always take with my vehicles, with the cars I work on. I always double check my work before I finish assembling it. Just in case there's anything that needs tweaking or fixing, I can do this right now without having to take everything back apart. So she's been running for like an hour now. If we look under here at the front and rear timing covers, they are bone dry. We got no leaks. Front main seal is also dry. So I'm gonna button it up. Tomorrow go on a test drive. And the Big Wing Z should be ready. Homie got the fucking solar system up in there. Alright, y'all, so we got 3 Z's in the shop today, which is perfect because you guys just saw me do gallery gaskets on this guy. So what I'm gonna do is do a oil pressure comparison between this Z with brand new gallery gaskets and these guys. So this black Nismo is in for oil gallery gaskets as well, and then we got the Turbo Z, which is in here for something else. But as far as we know, the gallery gaskets have never been replaced on that one either. So we're gonna do a cold start on each one of these and compare the readings. All right, so we're in the Big Wing Z. It's got 530 oil in it, and it's gonna be a cold start. So RPMs are right under 2 grand, and oil pressure is at right under 120. Alright, so now we're in the black Nismo. The oil weight on this one is unknown, and this is gonna be a cold start. So oil pressure is considerably lower. That is about 80 psi, 70 psi, right under 2 grand. So oil pressure is considerably lower on this one. All right, so now we're in the Turbo Z, And some of you guys are gonna think that because it's a turbo, it's gonna affect the oil pressure. But this one has a comp turbo, which is a sealed cartridge. It has no oil going through it. It's a greasable turbo, so that should not affect the oil pressure at all. So here we go, cold start. This one is running 530 synthetic. So cold start at about right under 2 grand. And we're reading about 100 PSI. Now, assuming that all these gauges are accurate within each other, I would say that this oil pressure is a little low, but I think these gallery gaskets are still okay. So if you have a Z and you do a cold start and you have under 90 PSI, I would highly recommend getting your gallery gaskets replaced, because as it warms up, the oil pressure drops even lower. So the silver one, you guys saw the gauge was pegged at 120. So anything under 90 PSI on a cold start in your Z, I would highly suggest getting the gallery gaskets replaced. All right, y'all, so it's time to start surgery on the black Nismo. This one's getting oil gallery gaskets, as you guys already know. It's going to be the exact same procedure as the Big Wang Z. So I'll post updates as I go. Keep you So I'm getting ready to pull the front timing cover in. And would you look at that, we got the same exact stain we did on the other one. All that crud right there, that tells me that the rear timing cover is leaking. See all that cake right there? That's from the rear timing cover, guaranteed. That's the exact same situation we're dealing with the other one. So if you look right here on the side, we got all that oil seeping through. That's the rear timing cover. It's the same exact situation as the other one. So I'm gonna let Jose know that I recommend doing the rear timing cover, and we'll let him decide what he wants to do. In the meantime, I'll just keep making progress. Keep you guys posted. So the front timing cover is off, and it was very obvious to me where this failed. There was a huge failure on these gallery gaskets. Y'all see that? That shit got blown out. Jesus, no wonder we had low oil pressure. Alright, y'all, so I'm pulling into the Infinity dealer. I'm here to get parts for that black Nismo. I gotta get a water pump and some various gaskets for that front timing cover job I'm doing. I'm gonna try and have that guy done today. Realistically, it's probably gonna carry on till tomorrow, but we'll just see how it goes. So if I was just replacing the gallery gaskets, this would be about the halfway point. But since I'm gonna reseal the rear timing cover, there's a little bit more work involved. So to get to the rear timing cover, to be able to pull it off, I gotta remove that timing chain, that timing chain, and that timing chain. So there's 3 timing chains I gotta pull off. I'm gonna remove that guide right there, that guide right there, the tensioner, the water pump, and the cam gears. That'll give me access to the rear timing cover so I can pull it off and reseal it. I'm gonna show you guys the parts that I got along with the part numbers so you guys can see what's needed to get the job done. So these little O-rings right there, those are super important to replace. So I'm gonna show you guys the part numbers. Alright, so that's the water pump right there. We got the front main seal. We got these O-rings that sit on top of the gallery plate. We got 2 of these. Same part. We got VVT cover gasket. There's a left and a right side. And then we got the actual gallery gaskets right here. We got these from this performance. And then some gray RTV for the mating surfaces on timing covers. And that's basically all you need, along with some oil and some coolant. Just like the other one, that's where it's leaking the most, right there, right over the thermostat housing. Alright, y'all, so it's time to put the rear timing cover back on. And let me tell you guys, some cleanup is by far the most time consuming part of this job, hands down. Cleanup is just ridiculous on these. Gotta get all the silicone off that just to be able to reseal it. So I got 2 more O-rings I gotta put on the parts list, but the rear timing cover is ready to put back on. Yeah, finally. All right, so now I'm at a point where I can fire it up and check that oil pressure. Moment of truth, y'all. All right, so this is gonna be a cold start on the black Nismo after replacing the oil gallery gaskets. So if you guys remember, before we had about 80 PSI on the cold start. So let's see what it is now. So it is up by 120, just like I was expecting. Right under 2 grid. So we're good now.